Hello, UVM community. You are joining in on a training for the new additional pay form presented by Kate Bedell in HR and Penny Kea in Payroll Services. Right now, you are viewing a screen that shows you how to get to the mini manuals and user guides for the new additional pay form. You may go to uvm.edu/HRS, go to payroll and employee records, and you will see the additional pay form link as well as a link to the user guide and mini manual. You can also find a link to the additional pay form on the payroll's website. This is the new additional pay form. It was reconfigured in July of 2017. Everything's been incorporated into one form as opposed to the two forms before, the general use and the represented faculty. All information is now included in one comprehensive document. We're going to start at the top. This first box is for original or revision. If it's an original, you'll go ahead and you'll type in. If it's a revision, you need to be very careful that the original has already been paid. And if you have questions regarding the revision and how to submit, you should contact retro@uvm.edu. The date prepared box is the date that you're creating the form. The employee ID is self-explanatory. You include the employee's last name, first name, the record number that we should be routing the form to, the employee's current salary, and their union status. The term box is used for employees' term, most importantly for those that are working less than 12 months, but the drop down, the drop down also includes a 12-month staff or faculty, as well as those that work less than 12 months. The home department, there's also a drop down for you to grab from there to auto-populate. And then the initiating department, that would be used when the services are rendered in a department other than the home unit. Pay group is generally going to be semi-monthly, but on occasion our Kronos biweekly employees will have an additional pay form. FLSA status, either subject to overtime rules or exempt from them. FTE is the current FTE for the employee's assignment that's associated with this ADL pay form. And now at this point, this is where the form starts to take on a little bit different flavor than it did originally. There's some staff information and some faculty information. The staff position title is a drop down, and then the reason code is also a drop down. You will see on the staff side that the UA faculty reason codes are included because there are situations where for a staff you may need to use one of the faculty codes and vice versa. On the faculty side of the form, the position title is free form. You should just go ahead and type in there the faculty's assignment title. And then the reason code is also the same as what's located on the staff side of the form. In the description of work box, you should type in very clearly what the employee is doing to warrant the ADL pay, and then attach any supporting documents. Down here, you'll find the dates of service box. Now, these are different than the dates that you are asking payroll to pay the employee. These are used primarily for effort reporting purposes, and they indicate when the work was actually done. You'll begin a start date and an end date, and they will not necessarily coincide with the start and end date of a payroll cycle. I'm going to turn it over to Kate Bedell now, and she will explain this new box that was added in July of 2017 regarding affordable care.
So for any employee that's receiving the additional pay due to time worked, you need to enter value into the applied FTE, the total credit hours, or the total hours fields. If the adult pay is being received because of a cell phone reimbursement or some type of bonus or something that's not associated with actual hours worked, you would enter 0 into this total hours field. If nothing is entered into any of these fields, even if it does say cell phone reimbursement, we are going to ask you to enter 0 hours into the total field, just because that shows that you're saying that no work hours were, the department is saying that no work hours were associated with the pay. For applied FTE, if the work holds an FTE, so it might be 1.0, it might be 0.2, you would enter that into the applied FTE field. If the additional pay is for teaching credits, then you would enter the credit hours, the total credit hours that the additional pay form is for, into the total credit hours field. And then if you are estimating hours that the employee is going to work associated with that additional pay, or you know how many hours they should be worked, what the expectation is. So say you have somebody coming in to speak for 4 hours and you're paying them for that, then you would enter it into the total hours field. And then just to skip down so you can see how these are going to play out, there's a formula that will then use these fields and additional fields that Penny's going to mention in a minute to calculate this pay period ACA. But this is, you can see it here behind the scenes. It looks at the start and end date of the work. It looks at the number of pays. And then whatever field you enter here, there's a specific formula that should spit out the pay period ACA. And so I'll turn it over to Penny so she can mention the other fields that are related to this formula here.
Okay, so I think that just for visuals, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enter some data into one of these boxes. So we have a start and stop date for the services rendered. We have an applied FTE associated with it. And again, as Kate shared, you want to enter only one of these boxes. Entering more than one of these, this set of criteria will give you some bad information for us to pay off from. So I'm going to skip over the department chair, which is relatively self-explanatory, and the date. This date field, I'll be perfectly honest, I do believe I don't think that it's completely relevant to the form itself. It seems to be somewhat redundant. However you've been using this box in the past, please continue to do so. If it's not filled in, it is not a priority, and no one's going to ask you to complete it. So if we skip down a little bit to the payment information, this box right here is the first payroll that you want us to pay this adult pay form in. So you can see up here that the services rendered are January to the end of February, and I'm going to go ahead and say that I want the first pay date to start on 3/15 of 2017. Oops. Okay, I want to pop it down. Nope. And I want it to end on 3/31/17. So I'm going to pay everything out in one payroll cycle. So I'm going to tell it 1. You can see right here that the ACA hours have populated. Oops, I'm sorry. Pay period amount, we're just going to make it simple. We'll put in $100. Did I capture that in the right spot? Number of pays, 1. And you can see that the form is smart in that it populated the one payment at $100. It has carried down the information to the distribution portion of the box, or of the form. The $100 and the ACA hours. This is the point at which there's another, actually I'll explain that right now. There's another change on the form from what predated this 2017 form. We've enabled units to use multiple earnings codes. The criteria, though, must be the same. So if you're submitting, say, for example, a 512 and a 510 earnings code, the criteria, the dates of service, the first payroll, the what else? The reason code. Those all need to be the same. So we've got the totals populated over here. We're going to select an earnings code from the drop down. I'm going to say it's a 512, which is our most common. I'm not fluent with the chart string, so I'm just going to enter in 9 digits in the combo code field. I do not believe it to be intuitive, so you're going to have to know what your chart string is. There's your combo code, and then you would continue to fill out the account, operating unit, department, fund, source, function, project, program, purpose, and property associated with the combo code that you've selected. Please note that if you select a project, depending on the rest of the chart string, this may be routed to cost accounting for review and sign off. So please allow extra time for that. If there was another earnings code to be paid, you could enter that information down here. And you'll see a little bit down farther that it will take what's listed on the top and what's listed on the bottom, and it tallies everything down to the bottom for a total amount to be paid and a total number of ACA hours. Externally funded, it's either yes or no. And I believe that cost accounting uses that information for their piece of it. You'll see the approvals box. I believe that most of you know how to route these, but you as the initiator will be signing and initialing in the administrator initiating department box, dating, routing to a business manager and a dean's office if need be. Provost and faculty will sign off on represented faculty. Human Resource Services will sign off on the form, and faculty services will, depending on the type of employee that's being paid. Additionally, the grad college signs off on forms that are for funded grad students. The University Financial Services box is for our friends in cost accounting to sign off on if there is a sponsored project that they need to review. Down here on the bottom is a calculator that's for use for employees that work less than 12 months to help you with the additional pay amount. On the second tab of the form, you will find some useful information regarding some titles, union codes. It gives you a full and concise list of the terms and the earnings codes. They're in a larger font format, so it's a little bit easier for you to see. If you find anything missing or is not correct with any of this information, please be in touch with payroll. You can call our front desk at 656-6600, or you can email payroll@uvm.edu. Additionally, any questions regarding the form, how to fill it out, or just general questions should be routed to payroll. And then if there's some HR implication to your question, we will route to HRS Info for their input. Do you have anything to add, Kate?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. Thank you for listening to this video demo on how to use the new additional pay form. Thank you.